David Tohn, CEO of BTS Software Solutions. So my early experiences in the Army on leadership, management, growing people, being grown, has been instrumental all the way through. So I had 172 people as soon as I was commissioned and went to my first assignment. A couple of things I learned out of that was, one, trust your people. They better be smarter than you. And I would go to them and say, what's my opinion on X? Because I had no background and they had tremendous background. And it built a two-way loyalty. So they knew that I valued their opinion, that they were certainly the ones running things. And particularly that young in my career, they were mentoring me far more than I was leading them. So that was important. The second thing that I learned that I've carried through is no one wakes up in the morning saying, how can I mess up today? So they're all trying to work hard, and what they need is the things that a leader is supposed to provide: guidance, priorities, and resources, and then underwriting honest mistakes. And so 4 years of doing that, a lot of experience. Experience is another word for scar tissue. And so based on that, the scar tissue from there has certainly informed decisions as I've gone forward, and they've been reinforced and added to over the rest of my 24-year career. BTS was formed out of Berico, which Guy was one of the founders of, in order to put 3G cellular into Afghanistan. The purpose was saving lives for the soldiers and the Afghans who are out on the perimeter, out on the ring road and at entry control points and checkpoints. And so the two co-founders, Sean Lane, former Air Force captain, and Craig Cummings, co-founder, the gentleman who worked with and for me, spun out of Berico. Created BTS, and were wildly successful in putting some pretty cutting-edge technology into Afghanistan. The Army loved the software, network development, network management software that was associated with that project, called Perfectus, and bought the whole thing, bought the entire license, and now it is government-owned, so GOTS. And BTS evolved to BTS Software Solutions in order to do the continuing development. And we just shrink-wrapped version 6.1.1 a couple of months ago. The vision that BTS was founded around was putting what we took for granted here in the US and the developed world, 3G cellular, which allows you to move data and push it out into the battlefield so that you can move data-intensive information out to soldiers who are on the cutting edge. They called it the last tactical mile. And so the idea was, let's put some hardware out there, some very miniaturized cell towers that you can establish a network where you needed it. Let's make sure it's secure. Let's make sure that we can have a very low-cost hardware requirement for the soldiers. They use essentially commercial cell phones, smartphones. And let's create a network management system that was designed that a 21-year-old kid with 3 hours sleep at 4 in the morning could operate multiple networks and manage them and do provisioning. So the vision was, how do you get a capability into the battlefield that is usable and designed for that environment, and rugged and sturdy and secure? So when they put that into Afghanistan, the first use case was biometrics. So out at the checkpoints, particularly out in the hinterlands of Afghanistan, you'd have Afghans come through or try and get on post, and you'd take a thumbprint or a retinal scan, and it would take literally days or weeks for that data to get back to the biometric database. Say, David's a bad guy. Come back and say, hey, arrest David, but that was a week ago. And so it's really not useful. But if you could capture that biometric piece, send it back over like we do every day now, send files over 3G, they were getting answers back in minutes, red light, green light. And it just helped with force protection, it helped roll up some bad guys, it helped protect a lot of Afghans. And so that was the vision, and it was very successful. At the height of reacting to that impact, Dan, myself, and Dan's brother Craig, the co-founder, Craig Cummings, looked at it. We saw there'd be an operational advantage to become service-disabled, veteran-owned. Our people in BTS are our number one priority. And so even when we were doing this dramatic cost cutting, one of the examples that they like to point out to us is we never touch benefits, which is the single biggest cost outside of salary. But that's part of our culture, it's part of our people. And so we took a lot of other very hard decisions, protected benefits, protected the workforce, protected the work environment. And I think it helped build a team that's ready to go through some really interesting growth periods. So BTS in 5 years, our 5-year growth plan is really to stay true to our nature on solving these hard problems, being agile, remaining a small company, because that allows us to pivot to problem sets and bring on skill sets that we need to solve, and not get trapped in true services, low cost, technically acceptable government work. So we see it staying in that space. All of the technologies we're working or we've brought on are all commercializable. So we see the compression algorithm that we're working that will finalize the deployment to that to the Missile Defense Agency in the fall. We're already exploring commercialization opportunities for that, so we see that as the next use of that technology. Again, back to the original concept of government and commercial work. And so we see a biotech component to it. There's also an aerospatial industry component to the telemetry compression. The work we're doing with DARPA, we retain that IP, and that will move us into academia and the research community and supporting data management in those sectors. So continuing to develop new interesting things with the government, but taking that intellectual property, pivoting into a commercial space, and then commercializing those. And I couldn't tell you whether those would become spin-off companies down the road or if they would stay internal. We're just not there yet to have that conversation.